every day. Oh, in the city of the Zuma, for every man and woman, nation's capital. So we're standing tall. It's the city of the Zuma, for Pupa and Numa, nation's capital. So we're standing tall. There is freedom, no segregation. Welcome to the city of my president, the city of my.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Abuja. This is Dateline Abuja on AIT. I'm Hawa Momo. The 29th of October 2019 commenced the beginning of a week-long trade fair. The proudly made in Nigeria Expo 2019 was held at the Old Parade Ground, Abuja. It showcased various made in Nigerian goods and services, and also young talented youths were not left out as they displayed their talents in mechanical and automobile fields. Let's take a look at the trade fair. The Helpline Foundation held its annual Abuja Expo Trade Fair, creating a platform for entrepreneurs to showcase their made-in-Nigerian products and services, which would ultimately give them visibility and support their growing businesses.
We wish to share in the joy and the effort made by the organizers of this program. Indeed, we cannot be a developed nation without thinking and doing things our own way.
Amongst the categories of businesses were clothes, shoes, gas cookers, soap making, beauty products. Fish farmers were also not left out of the expo, all proudly showcasing their made-in-Nigerian products. Speaking to the organizer at the Abuja Expo, Mrs. Jumai Adamu, she got her inspiration from the president's speech in 2015 that we should produce what we can eat and eat what we produce.
This is the second edition of Proudly Nigeria Expo that Helpline Foundation for the Needy Abuja is putting together. And we are inspired by what the president said in 2015, that Nigerians should produce what they can eat and eat what they can produce, because we have the number of people in Nigeria here that can actually serve as manpower, and we have the market also. So we now said, as a people, we shouldn't wait for what the government can do for us. We should look for what we can do for the government, which is one of the popular quotes of the United States president that said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask for what you can do for your country. So I'm glad that my friends and family, mostly civil servants, we said let's do something outside our usual routine to bring Nigerians with inventions, innovation, and those that have quality goods and services together, so that we'll come and expose them, so that the world will know what Nigeria has and come to patronize them. So, and I'm also glad that compared to what we had in 2016, there are lots of improvements in the innovations that we have from the young schoolboys who are here today to display what they have come up with. That's the general idea behind the Proudly Nigeria Expo. We've been here since Saturday, and we are going to be here till Sunday. It's a week-long activity, and we are inviting FCT residents, even those from Lagos, all over the world, to come and see what Nigeria can do for themselves.
Young innovative youths graced the expo with their automobile and aeronautic skills. They shared with us their inspirations, hopes, and dreams.
I started when I was small to use carton when I was in primary school. They said I should bring craft, and I thought of doing car as a craft with carton. I went to junior secondary school. They said I should go for exhibition. I saw other projects, and I think on using aluminium zinc to do with some cars for exhibition. Then we went for exhibition, and I took first. When I took first, and I get more encouraged that if I should keep it up, I'll become best.
Okay.
And I continue doing it. From the carton to aluminium, then from aluminium to iron. And I think that I'm in senior level, senior secondary school. I have to do something that will help me, which is this tractor that will be used for farm work. But the capacity of the engine cannot farm. But also, I'm using it right now for selling water within my community.
And so you drive it?
Yes, all the way from Kuje to this place.
You drove it from Kuje to
this place?
Geriki?
Yes.
And what powers it?
Motorcycle engine, fuel. It's 2 liters, take me from Kuje to this place.
And so how do you charge it? Is it battery based?
No, it's fuel, petrol.
You use petrol for it?
Yes.
What is the engine?
Motorcycle engine.
Motorcycle engine.
Yes.
So if you want to warm it, you use motorcycle. But I can see you playing with some batteries.
These are the toy ones. This one is remote controls.
Okay, remote control.
Yes.
What can you use it for? Just for playing?
Just, yes, for toys. This is the starting level.
Okay.
If government can assist me, I can do the bigger one.
Okay, so now you have a handmade. How long did it take for you to do this?
It takes me 2 years based on finance. I don't have people who sponsor me.
Okay.
If they can give me scholarships to further my education to achieve my dream that God have given to me, that would be the best. This is used for selling water within communities. And also it can be used for carrying goods from the farm. I use my phone to on the vehicle.
Sure.
Can I on it?
Yes.
So there are people who were talking about my country that Nigerian cannot be able to manufacture common toothpicks. So that was when I felt so sad, and my uncle came back from work and I asked him that, is it true that they used to import toothpick from China to Nigeria? He said yes. I said okay, that anything the white people can be able to manufacture, I can be able to manufacture it too. So that was when I came in, I started building all these aircraft. I started going to research, then get more information on how they work, how they move. Then from there I started manufacturing my own aircraft. Like this one is unmanned area vehicle. You can only use it for area photograph, send it to an errand, capture location of places, and it's also used for surveillance. Building one of the RC aircraft, it will take you like 40,000 naira to build a complete RC complete kit. I would like the government to encourage us, to empower us, to bring such technology into our country. And with this, it will also help the Nigerian to stop this importation of toys from outside country to Nigeria. And it will bring motivation and it will bring development to the country. We don't have adequate funds to be able to buy some necessary equipment that we need, like the materials. Like now, we normally use a sticker to manufacture if we want the beauty of the aircraft to come out very well. But since we don't have that adequate fund, we do use aluminium to also manufacture them.
It was a time to appreciate and celebrate entrepreneurs for being drivers of our economy. Welcome back. This is a call to the government and other investors to reach out to this youth, to empower and enable them so that the light in them won't fade. Moving on, Abuja is described as one of the fastest growing cities in the world and also counted among the most expensive cities in Africa, especially in terms of housing. Many houses are unoccupied years after completion as a result of high cost of renting or leasing. Houses are empty either because the developers or owners declined offers to sell or rent due to what they always consider as low offers, or interested parties are reluctant to make offers due to the notion that they are well beyond their reach. Let's take a look at this story of unoccupied houses in the FCT. The federal government recently put the country's present housing deficit at 22 million. In the nation's capital, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, at the opening of the 12th Abuja Housing Show in Abuja, said that Abuja has 1.7 million housing deficit. There are thousands of empty houses and estates unoccupied for years, while several Nigerians have no place to lay down their heads. This is also happening at a time when rent accommodation has hit the roof in the nation's capital, to the level that most of the workforce that run the city are forced to commute to work from far-off satellite towns and neighboring states like Maraba in Nasarawa State or Suleja in Niger State, where housing accommodation is a bit affordable.
Behind that is that most of the houses have been, overpriced, and so it's not affordable to majority of Abuja residents who will want to own such houses. The other issue that is also close to it is the issue of lack of effective policy in development control. Because development control approvals should be matched with demand and supply, particularly when it concerns housing. It's no longer news to us that every year we are told the same miracle figure of shortage of 17 million houses, which as a professional I don't believe is true, because I know the number of vacant houses in Abuja. So when you are talking about shortage, did you take away those ones? And how did you even determine? Because my professional body have been canvassing for a thorough housing survey that will be able to determine what we have in terms of units of housing, and also determine what we need across the different income groups in Nigeria. But it's a big assignment that can only be backed by government action. No private organization or professional body can embark on that assignment without the support of government, even if it's to the extent of providing logistics. So that has not been done, but we keep hearing about this millions shortage. But of course, Nigerians are also observing that there are houses that are vacant and they can't occupy it. So there is a paradox, there is a missing link between the vacant houses and the population of people that needs housing. The other aspect to look at is how were these houses built? Did the money come from formal sector in terms of did people take investment loans or development loans? If they took, how can they keep it vacant for this number of years? Already, people are observing that some of them have stayed vacant for 5 years and upwards, some 10 years. So if they took a bank loan to do such development, why are they not interested in collecting any income at all over these years? Are they servicing the loan, or are they part of what Ancon have as bad loans that are hanging all over the banks? Government need to look into this matter properly to be able to trace the funding of such projects, be able to trace the ownership of such projects, and then be able to influence with policy for future developments to take into consideration the quantum of available high-income housing in Abuja, so that the other income groups that don't have housing accommodation, by policy statement, they can also direct that future developments or developers will be advised to do more projects in the area of the low and middle income than the high income housing.
Given the difficulty in accessing accommodation by ordinary Nigerians living in Abuja, the United Nations advised to the federal government to tax empty houses in Nigeria, including Abuja. They urged the federal government to impose vacant home taxes with a view of addressing housing challenges in the country.
I believe that there is a lot of money that government have to make from taxing such unoccupied houses. Maybe a period of 1 year after completion, you are unable to have it occupied, you start paying some, luxury tax to the government. The same way with other luxury items, we have a lot of them in the country. If you go to airports, you will see jets parked, and people park them there, maybe pay the services of the airport authority. But in other climes, there will be tax that will also make you put them to use or discourage you from such wasteful investments that is not useful to everybody. So I am an advocate of the fact that houses that have been unoccupied for over a year or two should be taxed. Some form of tax should be paid, and this is what will compel owners of such houses to put it in the market so as to get income from it. Even if they are paying other forms of taxes, it will not be because they are vacant. And there is a lot of money, particularly in the city of Abuja, that will accrue to government when you consider the number of estates and houses that are lying vacant all over the place in Abuja. At the time, our oil was regular and the prices were high. Government bothered less about taxation. But this particular financial year, a number of things have come up in the area of taxation. We have seen government proposing to increase VAT, to increase the number of taxes and to introduce new ones, which is a response to the scarcity of funding for the nation to operate. So I also believe that this area must be one area that they are considering now, that those who own those luxury houses all over Maitama, Sokoro, Wusetu, and all parts of Abuja should be able to pay government some taxes. And that way, those houses will be brought properly into the housing market and will be given away at correct pricing than the owners insisting on the high rentals or selling prices that have made them vacant this number of years.
There are many completed estates in Abuja that remains half or totally unoccupied despite improvements in the real estate sector and Nigeria's economy in general. More estates are being built. Some of the ones that have been completed are either yet to be occupied many years after their completion or are mostly half empty. Districts like Jabi, Utako, Wuye, Gwarimpa, Kado, Cafe, Sabonlugbe, Chika, and Airport Road are homes to dozens of ongoing and completed estates.
I want to strongly believe that the government must be doing something about it. If they are not doing, I will call again on government at FCT level, at the federal level, to start a program of assessing these houses, of even enumerating them, determining how many there are and their various types before we could think about how to tax them. There may not be any legal backing for government to take the properties belonging to others, particularly if they are fulfilling all their obligations, they have approvals, they have certificates of occupancy and all that title, proper title. Taking it over and giving to low income is not part of what Land Use Act provides. And Land Use Act provides for acquisition that will be of general benefit to all the people. So the owners of the properties are also part of the people. So you can't rob Peter to pay Paul in this matter. The government, through taxation policy, can make them accept offers that come for such properties and then have them occupied.
Okay, let's talk about low income earners. How would this benefit the low income earners, directly or indirectly?
Indirectly, of course. If the taxes are charged on those properties, my advice would be that the income generated from that should be plugged back into providing housing needs of the low and medium income. Again, I also think that the development control arm of government should be able to regulate the number of approvals that goes for high income housing by counseling developers when they come up for building plan approval or development approval to go back and make proposals for low and medium income housing. If it's a deliberate policy approved by the Federal Executive Council, then the development control can now boldly tell a developer who comes with this idea of mansions that, look, we don't need this now, we have sufficient number of such houses, so why not do the one that will impact on the people? And I'm sure no developer will refuse, because of course without approval you are bound not to develop. It will be illegal to go ahead without the approval of the development control. So by policy, we can redirect investment into the low and medium income household.
The prices should be down to an affordable level so as to get the expected returns immediately, rather than leave the houses to lay fallow without occupants, and refusal to lease the houses suggest that they are products of illicit deals. Most of the owners are afraid of being persecuted, and instead of lodging money in the bank, they lie it to property where it cannot be traced to them, nor discovered by government. The high price tags on houses in the highbrow areas is responsible for the many unoccupied houses there. As long as the houses or estates are beyond the reach of the common man, they will continue to be unoccupied.
There are those who own these properties that are not the people that government think they can deal with on this matter. There are sacred cows, there are investors who are heavy political weights, and maybe government is intimidated in taking a decision that may affect these ones negatively. That's my first suspicion. Otherwise, I wouldn't know for any other reason why, if I'm the president of the nation or the minister of FCT, I will see opportunity of getting income. And I had it over the air, I've read it in the papers, and I overlook it. So I think there must be a reason they have to tell us, those in government, why they are looking the other way and leave the luxury houses vacant.
Most of these unoccupied houses were built for commercial purposes in anticipation that government officials or government parastatals and private companies would come and rent them at whatever price.
My advice to government is that we have played enough with the issue of housing in Nigeria. And this is one item that affects everybody of all ages. An infant born today needs a shelter over his or her head. A young growing adult needs shelter. An adult, an elderly man or woman needs shelter. So it's the need of everybody. And of course, it's rated as the second most important need of man. The issue of not being thorough about it by those in authority leaves a lot to be desired. First, we need to know where we are on housing, be able to assess and determine our housing stock according to their categories, be able to match that with the population of our people living in the cities. What do they need? Do we have sufficiency in this area? Don't we have in the other area? How do we balance it? And which area is the most needful area, the area that needs more accommodation than the other? And then our focus will be there. Of course, you need data to plan, and that data, there are enough professionals in Nigeria to provide data. But the government needs to take the lead of initiating the project of determining the housing stock in Nigeria, of determining the housing needs in Nigeria, to actually achieve what you could call a position report on housing, which will involve what is available and what is needed according to the categories of the need. Once we do that, then we have started. It's easier then to plan for the future.
Hope that something will be done towards the issue of unoccupied houses and estates in a way that it will also benefit the residents of Abuja directly or indirectly. And that's the much we can take for today on Dateline Abuja. Thanks for always keeping a date with us. You can follow us on any of our social media handles to share your views on this particular topic, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for a repeat broadcast. Till I come your way, same time, same station, I'm Hawa Momo. I've been watching this city for most of my life, and I've seen it grow. And I can't believe how quickly it is growing. Dateline Abuja here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, just makes sense. This city is at the center of so many stories, culturally, socially, and economically. When you look at Abuja, what do you see? When you see a market, I see a melting pot of culture. Where most people see construction, I see development. A road, I see connectivity. The lake, I see possibilities. This is my city. See it from a different perspective. For news, people, places, events, and lifestyle, Dateline Abuja, here in the Federal Capital Territory.